Oh yeah, yep. We live. We live back in the business, or not back in the business, back in the studio, in the business of the podcast. You know the vibes. It's your boy Jonathan Keaton in the cut. Right beside me is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Mike Cole, Gary Jr.
Yes,
How we
sir.
feeling? How we feeling?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. Feeling great. Nothing to complain about right now, other than my Heat being we getting smacked by the Bulls, letting Patrick Beverly score 14 straight. Hey, you know what? Like last episode, I'm already ready to just throw the season in the trash. Like I'm ready for us to. If we win the plan, we're just gonna get bust by the Bucks of Boston. If we lose the plan, shit, so be it. We'll get a lottery pick. My hope for next year is getting Kyrie. That is it.
mm,
It's getting Kyrie.
mm. Now that would be a steal because like the Lakers, they're fading away from the Kyrie resort type
Rightfully
season.
so. Rightfully so. Because D'Lo, he'll cost less to resign because Kyrie's
Hmm.
gonna want more money because he's a better player.
Right.
Yes, Kyrie's a better player, but D'Lo's a better fit because he's already played for LA. He's more of all. I mean, Kyrie can play off ball, but I think D'Lo's more of an off ball player because he's already played with other guys. Like he played with Cat, so he was already a third option. So I'm pretty sure he'd be a pretty good third option with LeBron and AD. So, and yeah, he struggled the past 2 games, but come on now, like it's bound to happen. Guys are gonna have off nights because he's not a superstar like AD. Now AD has no excuse for what he did against who was it? The Knicks. He had no
Yeah.
excuse for that. But I am mad that they chose to not play on back to backs because right now, if they beat Houston and they don't get game by the Mavs, they're the sixth seed. They're the sixth seed, bro. Like going from they're 11th. Like you think about that turn of events being from a sixth seed to being your 11th because you dropped 2 games that you were supposed to win. And another thing that's funny, that's the same spot they got game by Indiana earlier this year, which is crazy. That's the same spot. Oh wow, just perfect. Just perfect.
Man, I mean, it just shows how close the West is. And
Especially with the lower seeds, it's
yeah,
really really
from
close.
jumping up all the way from the 11th seed to the 6th seed, because if we look at who's third in the West right now,
Who's third? It's Memphis. No, it's
Memphis.
it's Sacramento. It's Sacramento.
Si-
Memphis is number two.
So jumping up to the 6th seed and then you're playing Sacramento, that is a favorable series for the Lakers because then you get Braun back. Then you have AD who's going to be unstoppable in the paint. And then if D'Lo is able to do the things that he's doing right now, which is being able to space the floor, provide his shooting, and then on top of that his playmaking ability, I say they win that series in 5 or 6.
Against the Kings, correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
I say yeah 5-6 because the Kings they're a great offensive team, but defensively they struggle, and the Lakers are a really good defensive team. So it's just
Mm,
gonna be a clash of who has better offense, who's better defense.
right.
But I favor the Lakers simply because they're more of a veteran team. In the playoffs, see the King, like I said in the regular season, I don't take most teams seriously in the regular season until see you do in the playoffs because the playoffs is a different animal.
Hmm.
Regular season, you're playing Charlotte Monday, Wednesday you'll play Golden State. So it's like teams really don't have that much time to like game plan for you because you can play because you can play teams back to back. In a series, you're playing one team for what 2 weeks, so you know everything they want to do. It's just now who's gonna get it done. So I believe in the Lakers getting it done in 6 most. If it goes 7, I don't. If it would go 7, that means either AD or Bron's not healthy. That's the only way. That's the only way to go 7. That's if the Lakers make it.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is hooping. I was watching. I was mad as fuck when I was watching
Uh,
the Bulls game because we come down. DeMar DeRozan gets a bucket. So I'm like, okay,
mhm.
we're up by. I think we're up by 2. It was either 2 or 1 at the time. De'Aaron Fox gets the ball. Now in my head, I'm thinking he is going to drive because he hasn't been shooting lights out to the point where he's going to do a step back three. He come across half court. He
Pulls it, just
in
pulls
I
it.
think he did an in and out step back
And what was it? Was it Caruso or was it
over.
Pat?
It
No,
was a
was it Pat Brett? Was
I,
it
I think
Beverly or
so.
Caruso?
I know it was over two. I think it was over 2 or 3 defenders, and Zach Levine was one of those defenders.
It, I mean, but to be fair, I gotta give De'Aaron Fox credit. De'Aaron Fox he's really good. It's just it's overlooked because it's the Kings. They're
Yeah.
irrelevant. They're losing. So it's like, and then this year, like I said, I'm pretty sure I said it before. His mid range volume's gone up and efficiency's gone up. He's a
Hmm.
really good mid range shooter, and right now he's the leader in clutch points. So that's one thing when you play the Kings. If you play the Kings, you gotta dominate them, or you don't want to get into a close situation because they got one of the best clutch players in the league right now with De'Aaron Fox. He's imagine I wouldn't say he's not Russ, but he's faster than Russ with a really good pull up mid range, and he's not as turnover prone. He's not. I wouldn't. Darren's not an elite defender, but he's solid enough where you're not gonna be worried about him completely. But the Kings, like I said, their weaknesses is defense. If it's a match between two heavyweight offenses, I would favor the veteran team. But if the Kings play somebody like, I want to say, I'm trying to remember who's a lower seed that they could end up playing. If they play Minnesota, I would think the Kings will win. If they play the Jazz, the Kings will win. The Thunder, the Kings will win. The Lakers, Warriors are probably the only two I can see the Kings losing to because they're more of a veteran team. They're useless. But yeah, the Kings. I got as much as before the season. I remember having a conversation with one of my friends. I said the Kings are gonna be the Kings. They're gonna suck. They're just gonna suck. You just expect why are we even talking about? They're gonna be they're gonna be 11 seed again, 10 seed, being a play-in maybe. But the Kings are they're 2 seed. They're 2 seed right now. It's always a proven fact. Every year, it's a surprise team in the NBA. And guess the Kings this year. Last year was Memphis. 2021, it was Phoenix and Utah. Those two were 2 surprise teams. So, okay, got good credit where credit is due.
Kevin Huerter's playing a lot better. He's picking
hurt?
up. Yeah,
you heard?
Yeah, hurt. I don't know why I said. I don't know why I said
Huerter. Oh my god, that's like saying Giannis Antetokounmpo or something like that, bro. I don't get how they messing their names up, bro.
Bro, the name botching is low key crazy.
But it is crazy because they mess up so bad. Like it's not like a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like they say one part, no, they would mess the whole name up. Like, bro, like you heard his name so many times, you should know how it's said by now.
Yeah, and then it looks at like when you're looking at the media sheet, it like sounds it out for you.
Right,
it's
it
like,
sounds it out for you.
It's like someone saying like Oscar Schublu when it's Oscar Shibwe from Kentucky. It's like it's completely off.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But hey, I'm not a commentator, so but I'm not. One thing for sure, I will not get a player's name wrong. I will make sure I say it right, or if I do, check me on it because I don't want to mess someone's name up because my name gets messed up. Not said wrong, but spelled wrong, and that's annoying. It's very annoying.
Nah, yeah, especially when we put in like food orders and then we would spell your name right, and they would still find it.
See, but the crazy thing about it is that we order from the same places and they still get it wrong. So that means they clearly know how it's spelled. They're just being ignorant to it. They're just like, they're spelling it wrong. No, it's spelled right. Like some places got it right, some places get it right, some places don't. When we went to March Madness, because we had to wear credentials to get to the arena, they spelled my name wrong, and they didn't put Junior. So I'm like, dang, bro. I'm like that could be somebody completely different, bro. Like I always emphasize, you gotta put Junior because then you'll get me and my dad confused, and then that's another problem. So it's like, I remember because I use this example all the time. I say I trip about it because in middle school I got in trouble because I got confused with somebody else who was named Michael. So I said, no, I emphasize it's EA, not AE. It's not that big of a deal. It's easy to it's 2 letters to flip. It's not that much, bro. But hey, you deal with it. You just gotta let people know.
Nah, yeah, you gotta let them know. It's the details. It's the details.
It's the littlest details, man. The littlest details, man.
I just don't understand it. And what really grinds my gears, since we're talking about this right now, is we make a food order. We have the extensive list of everyone's order. We send it to the restaurant, and then the restaurant somehow, some way forgets the majority sent them. I'm like, bro, we just sent you this. Buy it.
Like, because I know Chicago, they'll call me and say, hey, we don't have such order for such person. So I'm like, would they like substitute for something else? So I just text that person like, hey, they don't have that. We want something else, or it's fine. Like that's what I'd rather them do than just say, forget it and just give them nothing. Like then it looks bad on me because then it's like, no, you didn't order my stuff. Like I did. They just got it wrong. But who's to blame at the end of the day? Us or them? Always. It's annoying, man. But hey, it comes with the job. It
does. And sometimes you can't even say anything. Like you would try with me, I would try to come with like a different thing to say, but then like you can't because then it's just gonna look even worse on us. So it's like you can't even do anything, but you'd be like, damn, True Food Kitchen. Why the fuck how'd you mess this up?
Oh my god. Yeah. I'll never forget that day. Never forget it. That was hilarious day, man. That was hilarious day. We ain't gotta get into much detail. We ain't gotta get into details. But that day, that was a funny day, man. That was a funny day, man.
There's a lot with that. There's a lot of funny things behind the scene. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, I'm gonna just keep you on the graph. I'm gonna just keep you on the graph.
yeah. Just stay in the graph. The only thing I'll give you is that being a manager, a lot of things happen this shit.
No, it's slight. And then when you first start doing it, it's crazy because there's so many things thrown at you. It's like you're trying to juggle so many tasks.
You trying to juggle so many tasks, school, your own life, having fun. It's like you gotta figure it out some way. That's one thing I learned about y'all. You gotta figure it out. That's all it is. You gotta figure it out some way, somehow. Hey, but it's a great life lesson. Yeah.
It's fun.
This year was hilarious.
Oh,
This year was, man. Oh man, like,
there's a lot of funny moments that came.
Compared to last year, my first year doing it.
Mm-hmm.
This year was hilarious. I say hilarious because I don't want to say like it was bad.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because like looking back at everything, I'm like, yeah, like we really got through that.
Because there were altering adversity moments, right? Where we hit that spot, and me and you were like, "There's no way we're coming out of this. Like, there's just no way. We're going to be able to reshape this. Like, it's over."
Right. It's over.
And we were all at a point too, where it was just like mentally, it was like, it's hard. It's hard to deal with this mentally. And now we're all coming back.
You know what's funny? Like, that's what I was about to say. Because you remember that one bad day.
Yeah.
That was the worst day of the whole season. Everyone was done. Everybody was done. Everyone was like, you know what? You put your 2 weeks in, I'll put my 2 weeks in. Everybody was mentally done. But you know what? We got through that. End of the season, everybody's like, yeah, everybody's trying to move on. You know what? Let's just run it back. Let's bring the game back together. Let's bring the game back together, man. Let's just bring the game back together, man. Run it back for one more season. You know
exactly. And our chemistry is insane.
It's insane now. Like, because in the beginning, everybody had their moments.
Yeah.
Middle season, everybody had their moments. But towards the end, we all were on the same page. It's like clockwork. It just got easier. And then next year, if we'll bring back the same group, it's just gonna continue going through the season. And what we realized is we gotta understand that we gotta be together.
Yeah.
As a group, we have to be together because we can't control what they're going through, all that, whatever's going on team. We just gotta stay together. Because if we stay together, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And that's exactly what happened. The one thing I do hate though is that we were not able to get Elephant Vine for that last practice.
Man.
We needed to do that, bro. Just to let them know. We had to.
I don't understand how much I wanted my lick back for that. That was going to be the cherry on top. That was going to be the coup day. The food, practices, everything. We get Elephant and Vine, and everyone's like, "Oh, why'd you get Elephant and Vine? Who got Elephant and Vine?" I'm just over it.
Okay. Exactly.
Just cooking up evil schemes. But low key, we're gonna do that for the first practice. First practice that we're back there ordering food, Elephant and Vine. They're gonna come across this. They're gonna come across this podcast, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, why does John want to order Elephant and Vine? And why is he cooking up schemes to order Elephant and Vine?" I'm just trying to do y'all a favor. That shit is good.
It honestly wasn't that bad. Like, it's the same thing because to be fair, last year when we would order Sweet Green, I would never try it. And I like it because I forgot what I got, but it was good. It was actually pretty damn good. So I wouldn't say I get it regular because that's too expensive. But
Yeah.
I would get it regularly. But I'll get it like if it's like a day I don't feel like making nothing or like eating some snacks or something like that. I'll just give me some Sweet Green because it ain't that far. It's not far. So yeah, that. What's that one place called? Potbelly. Oh, Potbelly.
I know. I mean, with Potbelly, we always find a way to get Potbelly. Qdoba catering. There's a lot of hate on that. Oh my God.
I just don't like the clean it up part, man. That's about it.
I mean,
I hate that we have to clean that up. Like, because it's like especially after a practice. It's different if it's pregame. Pregame is different. That's different. I can accept that. But after practice, man, I'm trying to grab my food, clean up, get out of here, man. Not trying to clean up Qdoba because you want some Qdoba. You can spend your money to get you some Qdoba and clean up whatever mess it is. Not me. Next time you recommend that, just know you clean that up by yourself. I'm not saying to help you clean that up. I'm not. I refuse.
I mean, at that point, I'm gonna just give the food away and just take it to the crib.
I'm gonna say you can do that. You just take it to the crib. I know done that because I got no space to put it to the crib.
Yeah.
So, but hey, you can do that. You can just take it to the crib. I wouldn't blame you. More food for you. Better than wasting it, throw it in the trash.
Yeah, exactly. The best place that we had was Aunt Sather's. Aunt Sather's was the bomb. It was so good.
I mean, I ain't a breakfast person. All I had was that what was it? Cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
Cinnamon roll. That's cinnamon roll. Cinnamon rolls were good. That's the only thing I had was a cinnamon roll. I ain't eat nothing else because I ain't breakfast. It was some orange juice. I ain't a breakfast person, man. Breakfast. Damn, think about the QO. I might actually try to get some.
Hey, no mean shit. Being like, you gotta clean it. You about to get some?
Oh, come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that now.
definitely just did it because ain't no way he was just talking shit about Qdoba just to get fucking Qdoba.
Hey man, listen, things happen. People change. I'm not the same person I was 20 seconds ago. I'm not the same person.
Oh, for real? It's 2023. You're a whole new person.
Yeah, it's 20. No, I wouldn't say that. Now I'm still the same person I was in 2022. I'm not the same person I was 20 seconds ago. I'm not the same person.
Oh yeah, you changed.
I changed in 20 seconds. Yeah, I'm different. I'm different now, bro.
You went through the trials and tribulations.
Exactly. In 20 seconds, I changed my whole personality.
You changed your whole life motto. It's
right.
Now here we do instead of now we don't.
Now we don't. That's crazy.
Whoa,
that's crazy.
Whoa. Here we do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
Paul basketball.
Oh my god. One more thing that I wanted to say, since we're on this topic. One of the funniest moments throughout the whole season when we was walking to Steve's Bites, and we were right across the street from Papa John because we were on a quest to order food because I wanted Pisano's because they're mozzarella sticks.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're walking. Cop car pulls up on the side, just examining the situation, and there's one guy out of nowhere just goes, "What up, Poe?"
He just yelled out, "What up, Poe?" Like, he just started explaining the situations. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah. People are funny, man. World's a funny place sometimes.
Especially Chicago. Chicago's
a funny place. If you're just around, like, sometimes you'll hear some funny things. Like, you'll hear some funny things, man. But yeah, man, it's a lot of funny moments we can talk about.
Yeah,
I think that's something we should include, man. Just get in the podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
At the beginning, we just start talking about the experience from last year, man. Just whatever. And then next year, we're talking about what happened during the season next year. If we have time. Keyword.
Next season's finna, because like the spring comes and like we're only doing it once a week, but then I don't know, or twice
a week,
and then summer, is it the same? Is it the same thing or? Is it?
You would have to ask Nora that.
Okay.
Not to me, because I told you I wasn't here. Bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
All I did was food. I did food. That's about it. But I wasn't there at all. So that's because you still gonna be here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's probably gonna be y'all. Not me. I'm not gonna be there. But the good thing is he doesn't record summer practice, so you don't have to worry about that. We don't do that. I don't think we do that because I don't think we have enough. They had enough people to even do that. Because it's pointless. Why are we recording practice in the summer? Spring we do. I'm pretty sure we did last year. We did, but yeah, we record during the spring, and that's it. The summer, I doubt we do because we literally would not have enough people to do that. So
yeah,
it's probably gonna be just you. It's probably gonna be just you and Fern because I think Nora has her internship. So
yeah, because I started a job in the summer too. That's why I was asking that.
It's probably not. It's not an everyday thing. I'm pretty sure it's probably like 1-2 days a week.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool.
And I'm pretty sure they're gonna let you know the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that'd be crazy.
And I mean, but like I said last year, because me and Nora weren't there, I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out.
Hey. Oh wait, go ahead before I say.
When there's a will,
there's a fucking
way.
There's a will and there's a fucking way. I'm gonna need Joe. Yes, Joe, the man become for that campaign. Joe for Dobo, 2024.
2024.
Well, because like we're going into the 2023-2024 season.
But 2024. All right, John. See, this is why we talk about sometimes. Sometimes you talk too much sometimes.
You're right.
No, just say, because I don't know when they'll start the hiring process. But anyways, let's not get into the politics.
No. This
is not a politics.
Yeah, we are not poli-sci.
We're not politicians.
Yeah, we're not poli-sci majors. That's
right.
We'll leave that to all the.
Let's leave that to them. Let's talk some hoops, man. Well, no, we already talked some. Let's talk some NFL because last time we talked mainly hoops.
All right. I mean, the NFL because the AFC East could look like the best division in football, but I'm not even trying to like say this to throw shade at them. But the Patriots are not going to be able to compete in the AFC East.
I mean, like I said last year, we're not going to be able to compete. I said the only reason we're better than the Jets is because the Jets had Zach Wilson at quarterback.
Yeah. Then they had their substitute.
They had a substitute teacher at quarterback. Then they had Joe Flacco at quarterback. Come on, man. Like if we're worse than the Jets, we have a serious issue we have to figure out because we beat the Jets twice. So it's like, yeah, it's a serious issue we got to figure out. But in all honesty, we're the worst team in the AFC East next year. We will be because Miami just got Jalen Ramsey. They have a top 3 quarterback duo, a top 3 wide receiver duo. When Tua is healthy, he is definitely a top 10 quarterback. He
Oh,
was MVP
100%.
candidate before his concussion.
Mhm.
You see, because I will forever remember what he did to the Ravens. They were down. What were they down? Like 20?
It was.
Like
I
were
think
they
it
like
was.
28-7, something like
It
that?
was either. Yeah, I think it was. I think that was the exact score.
And they made that comeback. And the Ravens weren't a bad defense. They were getting cooked that day, but still, hey, that's a really good defense. That's a top end defense. But and then the Jets getting. I don't care. As much as Rodgers played bad last year, I still say Rodgers is a top 10 quarterback. And the Jets with a top 10 quarterback is a great team.
Yeah,
they were a quarterback away all of last year from being a great team. And they got Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. I forgot his name, the receiver's name. I wanted to trade at first because of Zach Wilson.
Oh, Elijah Moore.
They have great weapons. They have a solid offensive line. It isn't elite, but it's solid enough. But you give Aaron Rodgers that, CJ Osama at tight end. You bring in his guy, bring in his guys, Alan Lazard, probably bring in Randall Cobb, and then they're trying to get Odell. They get Odell now. I'm like, oh, well, we have no shot. We have no shot. Like the only shot we have at being competitive is not wishing up on Tua, but if Tua's not healthy and Aaron Rodgers is actually washed up. If he's washed up, because as much as I hate to say it, the Bills, we're not going to compete with the Bills because they just have simply the better quarterback. They have the better quarterback and the better team. The only two teams. The Jets, I see us competing with simply because we own the Jets. We own them. We have their number. They haven't beaten us since I was in 7th grade. They haven't beaten us in years. Man. So it's like, yeah, that's Dolphins. I'm gonna be honest, they'll probably get us to Miami. They always usually get us to Miami, so I won't be shocked if we lose at Miami. But if I'm being completely honest, I wouldn't be shocked if we finish last. As much as that's not really something you should say as a fan, but sometimes as a fan of a team, you have to be realistic. I can't say, oh, we're going to win a Super Bowl. Mac Jones is going to turn into an MVP quarterback. He's going to have Mahomes type breakout. No. He's going to turn to Brady. I hear people say that. No, he's not. He's not Brady. Let's stop that. Mac Jones is not Brady. But I expect improvement from Mac Jones because we actually have a good offensive coordinator in Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's a great offensive coordinator. He was actually not a bad head coach. Once he became GM, that's when it got bad.
That's when DeAndre Hopkins for a ham and cheese sandwich.
For the second round pick. I was in class. I look at my phone. D-Hop gets traded for a second rounder. I'm saying, you're crazy. D-Hop goes for a second round, but Marquise Brown goes for a first. Crazy. That's why you knew he was a bad GM. He wasn't really good at his job as a GM. But as coach for the Texans, he was good.
He kept the Texans very relevant.
Very relevant. So you gotta give him credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
So and then his last year, I think he got fired when Deshaun Watson has best season.
Oh, yeah.
Deshaun Watson had like a top 5 quarterback season, but they won 4 games.
I wouldn't even say top 5. I would say top 3 because his best receiver was Brandon Cooks. And
hey, don't sleep on Brandon Cooks.
I think Brandon Cooks is good too, but like from like an actual perspective, he had that was the only top 15 receiver that he had, and he damn near had 5,000 yards.
And then he almost did have 5,000. He had 36 touchdowns, like 6 picks.
Yeah,
like I feel bad for him, not now, but I feel bad for him. I'm like, dang, he really just had a top 5, top 3 quarterback season, and he won 4 games. I've never heard of that. Like that's honestly crazy thing about because if your quarterback plays well, you usually win a lot of games. That means a lot of things had to go wrong to win 4 games, and they didn't have their first round pick that season.
Yeah.
Which was even worse. I forgot who had their first round pick that year. I actually forgot, but they didn't have it. They didn't, because if they did, I'm pretty sure they would have had they would have drafted a quarterback.
Yeah, they would have definitely got someone.
They would have got someone better than David Mills. I can't believe. I hate fan bases like that, man. I hate fan bases who just believe in the upside to every player. Like you gotta be realistic sometimes. David Mills, he's not an average quarterback. He's below average. It's a reason why he looked pretty good last year.
Because he had throughout all the rookies last year, he had the most 300-yard passing game. So I was like, there's a lot of upside to David Mills. And then
but this year he got benched. Clearly he wasn't that good. He was not that good. So I'm like, yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. But the AFC, I mean, you know what? The AFC East could be like the West. Because remember how much hype the West had this year?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because you look at it from top to bottom, right? And the Patriots,
the worst quarterback was Derek Carr. Derek Carr is like a top 13.
Yeah.
Before coming in this year, he was like a top 13 quarterback. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh yeah, the Raiders definitely all 4 could possibly make the playoffs. And I honestly believe that. But what happened? The Chargers got hit with injuries. The Broncos, Russell Wilson digressed a lot. And they got hit with injuries. The Raiders Derek Carr underperformed, and their defense was horrendous. Devontae Adams was great, despite Derek Carr not being amazing. And then
Josh Jacobs was good too.
Josh Jacobs, how did I forget about the lead rusher? Josh Jacobs was amazing. Their defense was bad. Their defense, that's been Derek Carr's story with the Raiders. Their defense has always been terrible. Even with Khalil Mack, when he won Defense Player of the Year, their defense has always been terrible. So it's like, once they get the defense right, they'll probably be solid. This year, I believe the Raiders will probably finish last. They'll probably finish last. They'll finish last because Jimmy G, they're in the same tier. The defense, I haven't seen them make any moves make the defense better. Probably have to draft a guy, but they're probably going to draft a quarterback.
I think they should. Because realistically, you look at Jimmy G.
You know his ceiling. You know how.
Yeah.
And then this isn't the Niners. Like the Niners, he could get y'all to the Super Bowl because
Yeah.
the Niners are just so great in every other. You seen when you had the last pick in the NFL draft, take a team to the conference championship game, and I fully believe if he's healthy, that game's closer. I'm not saying the Niners win, but that game's closer than 38-7 or 30-something-7. It's not gonna be like that if he doesn't get hurt. But back to the original discussion, Jimmy G, you know his ceiling. He's not gonna win you games, but he for sure can lose you a game. He for sure can lose you a game. He's done it countless of times. The Super Bowl, the NFC Championship game last year. Oh my goodness, he has no excuse because he has Debo, George Kittle. He didn't have an elite running back, but he still has a great offensive line. He has an offensive guru in Kyle Shanahan. He has a top 3 defense every year with Niners, and he still somehow can't get it done. But hey, the Raiders, I don't expect much. I expect them to probably draft like Will Levis because he's probably going to be the last quarterback pick. He's probably going to be the last one. Because who's going to take one? The Texans? Well, no, Carolina's going to take one.
They take Anthony Richardson, first round, first pick. They take Anthony Richardson.
I don't think they'll take Anthony Richardson. I don't think they would.
I think because they said, so I was listening to this podcast. I forgot what the podcast was called, but they're talking about how Frank Wright hasn't worked with any short quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's not taking Bryce Young. He's not taking Bryce Young.
Yeah, so that got me thinking a little bit. And their last successful quarterback that actually did something was Cam. And are they comparing it?
He matches it. He matches it so much. So I'm like, they probably will take him, but same time they might take another quarterback. I forgot his name.
You talking about CJ Stroud?
Yeah, they might take CJ Stroud because he's like a taller quarterback and he's more of a passer. So
yeah, he's more accurate too.
He's more accurate. So I would think they would take CJ Stroud because that's what it's looking right now. They probably take CJ Stroud. But if they take Anthony, so big. It would just be a match made in heaven because like another athletic quarterback, number one. So it's just perfect for Carolina. That's what Carolina needs. Like, because Carolina has been good. Carolina has been bad ever since that TJ Watt. I remember that game because I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Newton, I want to say it right now. Cam Newton's career was finished after that TJ Watt hit because it destroyed his shoulder and he was done for. That was going to be Cam's best year other than his MVP season because he wasn't throwing picks. He had like a 68% completion percentage. The Panthers were like 6-2 or something like that. They were going to make the playoffs. Then that TJ Watt hits his shoulder, and his shoulder's done for the rest of the year. And then after that, he's never healthy again. And then we got a washed up Cam Newton. So it's like damn, we feel bad for Cam because it's like he was really good at that moment. So it's like dang. But that's when the Carolinas, like, they just fell off after that. Because before that, they were relevant still in a way.
Yeah.
But once that happened, they just been irrelevant. And then they tried to come back where they brung Cam back. That lasted for 2 weeks. 2 weeks because his first game against Cardinals, he had like a rushing touchdown. He was screaming, "I'm back!" And then then I'll be honest, against the Washington, he played really good. But once Christian McCaffrey got hurt, back to high. It was a wrap.
It was like our pay period. Just his time was just twice a week.
It was only 2 weeks, and then after that, back to being a bad Carolina team. But it was smart for them to trade up because they needed a quarterback. They needed a quarterback. So you know what? The Texans are probably gonna take Bryce Young. They're gonna take Bryce Young.
Yeah, for the Texans' sake, they are gonna have the same problem. They're gonna have a bigger problem now because Brandon Cooks is not there, and they didn't replace him with another receiver. So CJ Stroud's coming into a very damaged situation, to where he can't. You're gonna ask a lot from him. And
Bryce.
Bryce. Yeah, where you're gonna ask a lot for Bryce Young to the point where there's so much pressure on him that he's not gonna be able to
have
perform.
Right, he's not gonna unless they draft a good guy. But I don't know if they have another first round pick. They might, but for Brandon Cooks, what was a 5th and a 6th rounder?
That's crazy.
Hey, all that says is D Hop is not going for a second. He's not going for a second because Brandon Cooks is healthier. He's healthier, and he didn't take any performance enhancing drugs. So.
he's not Mr. PED.
Right, he's not Mr. PED. So I'm positive D Hop probably go for a 3rd. He'll probably go for a 3rd. I don't know where he's going. I thought Dallas, but Dallas got Brandon Cooks. So watch out for Dallas, though. Unfortunately, I have to actually support Dallas because they got my guy, Gilmore. That's my guy, man. I liked him with Buffalo, but once he came here, man, that became my guy. That was my guy. And then it hurt to see him. It had hurt to see him go because he's still a good corner.
Mhm.
He's really still good. He isn't his defensive player of the year good, but he's still a really good corner.
Yeah.
He was graded very well by PFL. He was graded very well. So and he was graded good last year with Carolina when he was with Carolina. He was pretty good too.
Or no, he was with the Colts last year.
No, well, okay, my bad.
Or did he get traded to the Colts?
No, he signed with the Colts. I'm talking about like the year we let him go.
Oh yeah.
The year we let him go. We traded him to Carolina, and then he was with Carolina, and he was pretty good. And then I think he had a pick against us. I think he did. He did. He did get a pick against us, but we won that game. But he was pretty good for Carolina. Gilmore's still good. So it sucks I have to now support the Cowboys in a way, but it sucks.
I'm not buying into the Cowboys hype. I'm not
buying into it either. But you gotta like can't just discredit them. Brandon Cooks,
yeah, that's true.
CD and
Michael
Gallup is pretty. That's a pretty. And I mean I don't know how Tony Polar's gonna look after this broken. I forgot when he broke his leg, and then they released Zeke. So I don't know how to. And then you gotta forget. What's his name? I forgot his name. Head coach for the Cowboys. I forgot his name.
Oh, you talking about Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, I see that's the name. I thought that I started thinking. I was thinking Mike McDaniel for some reason. He's calling plays now, not I forgot his name.
Nah, I forgot his name too.
I forgot his name too, but he was a really good offensive coordinator. Literally, since he's been calling plays, the only team scoring more points than the Cowboys was the Chiefs. Do you know how good that is? If you're keeping up with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have been one of the best offensive teams since Mahomes has started, so you gotta give him credit. And to say it's his fault, yeah, good luck, Good McCarthy. Good luck, because we all know how your career shaped out. You're only won a Super Bowl because you had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and if not for them, we've seen you're not really that good. You're really not that good. So hey,
Mike McCarthy is like that one car you want to get, and it's like really expensive. So you're like, okay, like I'm gonna go out and get it. And for the first time, you're like, man, I love this shit. Like it drives so nice, the interior's so clean. Oh my god, like the engine, it just roars perfectly. And then once you get on the highway, and then you crash, that's Mike McCarthy. That's Mike McCarthy right there.
Crazy.
But my thing with the Cowboys is they're getting all of this just to lose to like the 49ers or the Eagles.
Like, if they lose to the Niners 3 years in a row, yeah, you got. I don't know what to tell you. Like, because they own you at that point. I mean, 2 years is crazy, but 3, you gotta. I don't know what to tell you because that they own you at that point. Like, you can't talk nothing. You can't say nothing to them because they beat you in the playoffs. They ended your season 3 years in a row, and if it's a close game again, that means they're saying you choked 3 years in a row against the same team, who honestly. Who've had what? Had 3 different quarterbacks. We're probably gonna have 3 different quarterbacks because you don't know. Because Trey Lance beats if he beats them out, and he has to be a starter, and he beats the Cowboys, that's embarrassing. You lost to Jimmy G, you lost to the last pick in the draft, Brock Purdy,
and Trey Lance. You lost to a whole rotation.
You lost to a whole rotation in 3 years. Cowboy fans, man. I mean, I know they go through a lot because they haven't had any success since the 90s.
25 years. Or no, 25. Not like 20. I would be like 28 years.
Forget the metrics. They haven't had success since the 90s, man. Forget the number. They haven't had success in the 90s. I wasn't even thought of last time they've done something successful. I wasn't thought of. So,
with them being successful, though, it asks the question, like, who are the top 5 in the NFC? Because now, I mean, I think it's an easier question to answer with Aaron Rodgers going out. And like when you think about what Aaron Rodgers did career-wise, he had his worst season ever. But him having his worst season ever, he was a game away from making the playoffs.
Right, making the playoffs.
So I gotta because I didn't have him in my top 10, but like thinking about that now, he's definitely still there. And this season, he has to prove that he is either still that guy or he's better than what he did before. Because we saw what happened 2 years ago when they drafted Jordan Love. When Aaron Rodgers was falling off that cliff.
They pissed him off.
He
had back-to-back MVP seasons.
So, with that being said, I think it's pretty easy. Jalen Hurts he's number one.
Undisputed. It's no contest. Who's better than him?
Exactly.
Who's better than him?
And when you go down that list, you go, okay, so you go Jalen Hurts, then you look at what's the other successful team. I would say Kirk. I'd put Kirk at 2. And
so
then,
unfortunately, yeah, Kirk is.
The way Geno played, because Geno was the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. So I put Geno there. Dak because Dak came off a mid-year. Yes, he was injured, but in the games that they won, they didn't solely win because of him. They won because of their stifling defense and then he came in and did a couple plays. And then Daniel Jones, him and Daniel Jones are on like the same, they're on the same platform because you don't know what Daniel Jones can do with a number one receiver and without Saquon Barkley hip to his side. Or we do know without Saquon Barkley, he's a turnover machine. It's just this year he was able to look good at good times against the Packers where he drove down the field. So those are my top 5 from the NFC. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
You forgot a name. You did forget a name. You forgot Kyler.
Ooh, Kyler had flashes, but
I mean, he did get hurt last year against us. I don't know. I don't even know if he'll even start the season or not because it's towards ACL. I'm not sure if he'll even start the season. But Kyler will be a starter for Cardinals. But
he's in that same area of Justin Fields where they both have a lot to prove this season. And if they're able to do that, we'd be able to resurface their placement when it comes to top 5.
Absolutely. But honestly, I've never been a believer in Kyler. I never have been, simply because he hasn't really proved anything. He hasn't won a playoff game. It's sad. It's honestly sad to me because Kyler, they're willing to pay Kyler, but the Ravens aren't willing to pay Lamar. And Kyler he's been to the playoffs, but he didn't win a game. At least Lamar's got a game.
That's why I want to do a day in the life with the general manager. I got to see what they're talking about when it comes to, all right, so are we going to pay Philly Joe or are we going to pay Lamar Jackson? All right, let's give Philly Joe 3 years, $56 million, and then we'll just leave Lamar Jackson shitty.
Right.
It's like, crazy. I don't understand what's going on in their head. Or when like a guy like Adam Thielen, who's a slept-on receiver, hits the market, and no one. So like,
I haven't heard any rumors about anyone trying to pick him up.
Yeah. So I'm just puzzled. If you're a team that's not going to compete, okay, it's good to have him in the locker room for mentorship.
I don't think he'll want to.
Yeah, but like he'll become immune to like, all right, like I know what my role is. This is what I'm gonna do. Now, if it's a winning team, it's obviously different, and he's going to perform like he was in Minnesota, and which is, I'm actually surprised that no one that's trying to win a championship has gone after him. I'm surprised the Chiefs haven't even called his name yet. I hope they don't, but
honestly, I mean they'll probably might because they have to replace Juju because Adam Thielen, that's what he is. He's a possession receiver. That's what Juju was. They have to replace Juju with somebody as possession receiver because they gotta have another one other than just Travis.
Yeah,
and Adam Thielen, I don't remember how he performed last year. I can actually check right now. How did he do?
He was solid.
Pretty sure he was solid, but if he was overshadowed by, of course, the monster season Justin Jefferson had. So.
Yeah, and what KJ Osborne coming in there now? KJ Osborne's got to be what Adam Thielen was times 2.
Because Adam Thielen, he was a touchdown guy. He definitely got a lot of touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. That was Kirk's guy in the red zone.
Oh, absolutely. He's just gonna stay healthy.
Yeah,
that was his problem. Health was his problem.
I think he had about like 843 yards on the season.
Which isn't bad. Honestly, isn't bad when you got a receiver going for 800, 1,800.
Yeah.
And that's not bad at all.
He had 6 touchdowns. I think he had 6 touchdowns to follow with it. So, like, that's pretty solid.
It's not bad at all. It's not really bad.
Let me see. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cooper Kupp before Cooper Kupp.
Thielen? That's crazy.
Yeah, he had 716 yards with 6 touchdowns.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I think he had the same amount of touchdowns as Jefferson. No, Jefferson had 8, I believe. Jefferson had 8.
Yeah,
which is too bad, but yeah. I say the team that should be interested is probably the Chiefs, but he's probably asking for a lot. That is probably why the Chiefs haven't pursued him much. He's probably asking for like some money.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense because if you don't win a championship, at least you want to guarantee you make something.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
That's what I think most guys think. Is that if I don't win, at least I want to make something. I don't want to play for like $4 million.
Honestly, that's on the Trailblazers. Like, yeah, like he doesn't want to go anywhere because of loyalty. But look at his contract. I think he's like making $232 million.
He's making almost. I'm pretty sure he's making like $40 million almost a season. So.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, if I'm making $40 million a season, I'm not complaining about nothing.
Exactly. I got 6 houses.
I must say, I got a family, beautiful wife, kids.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a pretty good place. I'm making $40 million a year. I'm playing something I love. I'm playing a sport I love. Played my whole life. Why would I care about y'all talking about something? You never won a ring. I don't, bro. He honestly made a great point the other day. He said after he retired, nobody's going to talk about me. You're going to be talking about Luka, Tatum, He said the only time I'm gonna be brought up is like Portland when you talk about Portland and like or like most 50-point games, 40-point games in the season, and you see Dame when like like Wilt, like Wilt. Every time you see somebody break a record, you somehow see Wilt is involved in it. So it's like that's probably what he's trying to say. He's saying like that's the only way I'll be brought up. Like you don't see me in records books, but I like a casual fan probably isn't gonna respect Dame, but I respect Dame.
Yeah, I do too.
I know what I said. Other than Steph, he's him, Steph, and Clay are three guys you have to pick. If when they're hot, you have to pick up from full. You have to pick up. Well, not Clay necessarily because he doesn't really take them like as soon as he passes half court. But Steph and Dame, they're guys you gotta pick up from full court when they're hot.
You can do the same. You got to do the same thing for Clay because Clay's not going to dribble.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You don't got a full court press Clay, but you still got to watch it.
Yeah.
But Clay, honestly, he's more of a threat off the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, that's what I was getting towards.
And it's because he's 6'7". He got to get his shot off over anyone. So and he has a very quick release like Steph. So and when Clay's hot, it's over. You might as well you just expect that he's gonna go off on you. Like when he's hot, he's hot. There's no stopping Clay.
He's the greatest catch and shoot shooter of all time. And what makes him that is he's constantly moving. So
him and Steph just constantly moving.
Exactly. Constantly moving. And then on top of that, they have a big man who is able to express his knowledge of playmaking that makes it even deadlier for the opposition, the guard. Because not only that, you have to pay attention to Draymond's body movement, Draymond's eyes. You have to pay attention to. You always have to stay hipped to Klay Thompson because once you look at Draymond to see him dribbling, Clay's wide open for three. Steph is wide open for three.
Like guys like that, all they need is an inch of space. They get an inch of space. Oh, their confidence will land. And Steph actually shoots better. I'm pretty sure it was last year. I seen that he shot better when his 3-point shot was contested when he was wide open, which is insane. So you're telling me if he's open, he's missing more than when you're contesting it. That's insane to think about. But you know what's crazy about this year? If the Warriors were good, Steph would win another MVP.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's averaging 30. He's doing the same thing he did in his MVP season 2016. He's averaging 30 on 50, 40, 90. It's just the Warriors are such a bad road team. It's not home. They're bad on the road. They're worse than Detroit, and they have the worst record in the NBA, bro. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Worst road. And you would think they'd be the last seed. They're currently, I think they're like
7, I think.
Yeah.
They're 7.
And which is still good despite
you having nobody wants to play them in the first round. I wouldn't want to play them. I wouldn't want to play them in the first round. I wouldn't want to play Golden State. So I would honestly start expecting Denver. I think the only team that's not afraid to play them is Memphis. Memphis is not afraid to play them. Because they're not afraid. They want their get back. Memphis isn't going to tank. But if Sacramento and Denver, you know what? I'm starting to think a little bit. I'm not saying it, but I'm not trying to give them excuses. I think Denver's trying to think smart. They're thinking, we don't want to play Golden State or the Lakers in the first round because we know that's a terrible matchup for us. Because those are two really good teams. They just had issues that's caused them to be lower. Like, I'm pretty sure Denver would rather play. They definitely would rather play Dallas. They play Dallas. Oh, I'm confident Denver wins that series. They rather play Dallas. They rather play Utah. They rather play, trying to think who else, OKC, any lower seed. Not Phoenix. I don't think they want to play Phoenix. They rather play a lower seed.
Now,
Denver probably want to play the Kings. They don't play the Kings. I think because it'll be perfect for Jokic because he'll be going against pretty much like a mini version of him. Sabonis is pretty much like a miniature version of Jokic in a way. He isn't the scorer Jokic is, but Sabonis isn't the passer Jokic is, but Sabonis isn't that far off. He really isn't that far off. He's like I don't want to say poor man's because poor man's is disrespectful to say. I would say he's just like a lower tier Jokic. Like he kind of does a little bit what Jokic does. Play makes, rebounds, not the best defensively, not a rim protecting center. But I don't see Sabonis. I mean, it's a reason why the Kings are one of the worst defenses in the league because they don't have a rim protecting center. And everyone knows that if you don't have a rim protecting center, it doesn't matter. Honestly, you need a balance. That's the only way you can make it work. You can't have a bunch of perimeter guys and no rim protecting center because then you'll be Denver. You can't have a rim protector and have no perimeter guys because then you'll be like Utah, Rudy. Mm-hmm. And then so once you expose Rudy one-on-one, then you're kind of cooked. Like you gotta have a balance like a Miami or Boston. Boston has a balance because they have Robert Williams and they have literally 4 guys who can guard the perimeter.
And they have the ability to switch in between their lineups. So you have Robert Williams guarding the paint as good as he does, and then you have Al Horford as a perimeter shooter. Then you have Grant Williams who can also do what Robert Williams does, but at an undersized level.
Not shot blocking wise, but he's like a mini version of PJ Tucker.
But I would say he's a better defender than PJ Tucker.
I don't know about better than PJ. I don't say he's better than PJ. PJ's a really good defender. Don't sleep on PJ, man. Don't sleep on
Nah,
PJ. I realized PJ's value when he played for us last year. I miss him. We need him. We need a PJ. PJ meant a lot to us last year. PJ can score 0 points and have more impact than a guy who scores 10.
I agree.
Because PJ defends 1 through 5. He hustles. He rebounds. He just knows what he do. He brings toughness to the team. Like, so you need that leadership. You need that. If Philly, I wouldn't say he's the reason why they're doing so. They're doing so good because Harden and Embiid are like one of the best duos in the whole league. They are. As much as I hate their fouling baiting antics, I hate that. I hate that for the game. I hate guys who just foul bait. Like, I've never been a fan of Embiid. I've never been a fan of Embiid, man, because the foul baiting, it's annoying to watch. Like, watching that in a playoff series, like, he flopped so bad one time. He made Danny Green tear his ACL, bro. Like, come on, bro. You're too big to be doing all this flopping. You're too big to be doing it. Like, and he's getting these 12 free throws a game, bro. I gotta give him credit. He's leading the league in scoring as a center. He's about to do it back-to-back years, which is crazy. I don't think Shaq is done it. I don't think Shaq's done it.
Mm-mm.
He actually just passed Shaq in most 35-point games by center in a season. Well, Shaq's MVP season, Embiid just passed him more 35-point games because he's had 25, Shaq has 23. And to be honest with you, Embiid's probably gonna win MVP.
Yeah, I don't think because I got Jokic for my MVP, but
he's falling off. Like, it's not like if this was like the last week of the season, they lost like 2 straight games and he was getting exposed offensively. They're still gonna give it to him, but it's not even April yet. So, and it's like mid-March. It's almost the end of March, and they're all, like they've lost like 5 or 6 of their last 7, and they're not looking good defensively. And Jokic is getting exposed offensively. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not looking good for Jokic, like, because you're not winning as much. So it's like, that's just what he had was number 1 seed, winning a lot of games. He's averaging triple-double. He's still averaging triple-double. But, like, Embiid has put up these monster scoring nights, winning, and he's looked good. So it's like, it makes sense why MVP voters will start swaying from Jokic. My opinion, I think Giannis should win because they're number 1 in the East. Giannis does it on both ends every night. Chris Middleton has been really good all year. Drew Holiday is inconsistent. He's literally the most inconsistent. Like, not the most, but he's one of the most inconsistent guards I've seen. I've watched. He's so inconsistent, but yeah, it makes sense. The best player on the best team in the conference. So,
because the Nuggets. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say honestly, I say it's right now, in my opinion. I think MVP's 1. Embiid's 1. I think Jokic and Giannis are like 2. I'm trying to think who else would actually compete. Who else would compete for MVP right now?
You could throw Tatum in there.
Tatum fell off. Tatum had an argument actually, like. He had like a top 2 argument, and then once the Celtics started losing, then he stopped performing well. But honestly, I expect that because that's just who Tatum is, man. That's just who Tatum is, man. And I'm pretty sure we had this discussion in the last podcast. Tatum's low when it comes to scoring is you got to get him off the court, man, because he can't score it no more. He's having like a tour date. He's going 4 for 17, 5 for 22. Like, man, you gotta like Tatum, man. That's why I say most people had him. I'm pretty sure, like, as a guy to compete for MVP at least before the season, which rightfully so, because they were number 1 in the East. But Celtics are starting to lose. They're not number 1 seed anymore, and Tatum is not playing as well. So it all makes sense.
Tatum is Batman, where you don't expect him to appear. But then when he appears, you're like, oh, whoa, Tatum, slow down. And then when it comes to his lows, Tatum he's like that one guy in the drive-thru that keeps on asking you to repeat your order after you told your order like 6 times. You're like, bro, all I want is my chicken and small fries. And the guy's like, so you want a McFlurry and 2 double cheeseburgers?
So let me make sure you said you want a triple cheeseburger with some with a Big Mac. No, I want a double cheeseburger with a small fry, bro. Like Tatum, man, like Tatum has no excuse because like Tatum has like he has one of the most all-around games. He can get to the rim, score in the paint. He's one of the worst, like I said before, he's one of the worst rim finishers I've seen. He's probably not statistically, but like, every time I watch Tatum play, he'll miss an easy layup. Like against the Rockets, he missed that game winner. He missed that game winner layup. Most people, I've seen people say that's a foul, but nah, you're not calling that. As a ref, you're not calling that little touch in the back. You're not calling that. Now, unless he like blatantly like pushed him, they'll call it. But it was like a little shove. So I'm like, they're not gonna call that. Like if it was like middle of the game, they'll probably call that. But then you'll argue like, if you're gonna call it the middle game, call it at the end.
Yep.
You got to think about it. Like this isn't that. Like a call like that, they're not gonna give you benefit of the doubt. And then I did see he did say something like, I forgot what I think he did something against the Knicks when they lost. He think he fouled somebody. It wasn't a foul. He's like, this is what I get for fouling Braun, huh? Oh man, that day was hilarious. I was pissed that night because I'm like, that was a clear cut foul that wasn't called. And I said, I knew they were gonna lose an OT. Because Jalen, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. Jaylen Brown actually puts more fear into me. Like, not on the weird stuff, because it's like, no man puts fear into me. But as you're talking about, like, when Jaylen Brown's hot, he's dangerous. It seems like he's more dangerous than Tatum. Because Jaylen Brown, him getting his, when he's hitting shots, it's like daggers. Like, because he hits those tough shots. Tatum go for 50, but somehow it'll be a close game, and then, like, it just stay close. I don't know what it is with Tatum, man. I don't know.
Tatum's a weird player.
He's weird. Tatum is great, but he's weird.
Yeah. But Jaylen Brown is consistent, too. So,
No, I don't know. Both of them are consistent.
Because in the playoffs, he had a lot, like, shooting percentage-wise, it wasn't the prettiest. But he pulled, I think, from April all the way to the finals, despite, like, 3 games, like, he scored 20+.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, I know he wasn't that bad, but still.
But yeah, for me, for MVP, I'd have Jokic right now, because what he's doing with shooting is absolute true shooting. He's shooting 70.1%.
He's shooting 60% from the field, bro, and he's averaging 24. So it's like, I hate when people say, like, "Oh, he's not somebody who's a big time scorer." I remember I was listening to a Twitter space.
Mm-hmm.
They were like having an argument, like Jokic couldn't average 30. I said yes, he could. If he wanted to, he could.
Yeah.
Because he averaged like 27 last year. If you're averaging 27 and you're telling me 3 points is away from 30, I'm not saying he'll average 35 like Embiid. He could average 30 if he wants to, but he's a better passer, and he realizes he doesn't have to score 30 because he has Jamal Murray and Michael Porter. Joel Embiid scores 30 because he's the best scorer on the team. Jokic isn't the best scorer. He's the best player. Well, that's kind of disrespectful to say he's not the best scorer because he's the best scorer points per game wise. But we know Jamal Murray, when he's hot, he can get buckets from anywhere.
Yeah, the same with Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. I said last year he was just dealing with his back injury. I said Michael Porter Jr. is really good. He was just dealing with his back injury. That was the reason why he fell to Denver, is because people worried about his back. Like, could he actually play? But you just let a great player fall into Denver's hands, and he's like 6'10", can shoot, finish a little bit. He isn't a great defender, but you would think he would be at 6'10". But you gotta give him, because you gotta think about it. KD isn't a great defender.
Yeah,
like on ball wise, completely. He's like 6'9". KD's a great rim protector though.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great rim protector, off ball player. But next topic, talk about the Timberwolves and their situation right now.
They're in a tough situation because Anthony Edwards is injured.
He just sprained his ankle, and he's right now. I think they said he's like I forgot. He's being evaluated for how long, and they're the 8th seed, and nobody knows when. I'm still not sure when Cat comes back.
Cat's been gone for a
Cat's
while.
been gone since November. He's been gone since November, bro.
So.
And if they had D'Lo still, then you're like, okay, it's not too bad because at least we still got somebody who averaged 18, and can score 30 if he can. But your best offensive player right now is the other McDaniel guy.
Yeah,
but he's not like that, Jaden McDaniels. But you're like, you really don't want to put too much into that because it's like, now if he start going crazy, I got to put my hands up and say, give him credit,
right?
Give him credit for stepping over the role. But right now, Mike Conley is technically like best offensive guy in a way, but. I feel bad for the Timberwolves because they honestly could end up missing the playoffs. That Anthony Edwards injury was terrible for them because they could end up missing the playoffs. They can miss the play-in because how close things are.
Mm-hmm.
They can end up missing. Well, actually, no, I don't think they can because Portland is so trash. Portland is they would have to miss the play-in. Oh, actually, they could because the Lakers are in the 11th spot. No, they only took it.
New Orleans is down there too.
New Orleans is 12. New Orleans is at 33 wins. Minnesota has 35. Now, for them to completely miss like the 12, they would have to lose because they're 4 games above Portland right now.
Mm-hmm.
In Portland, I just seen a story by them that they say if they just lose games and it doesn't look good, they're just gonna shut Dame down. Just gonna shut him down.
That's smart.
It's smart because why waste him? Because he could potentially get hurt and then you won't have him next year. So it's just it's smart, but it sucks for Dame. But we don't want to get back into that because we gotta get back to Anthony Edwards. But it's the Timberwolves. But damn, the Timberwolves, they're stuck in a tough position because they don't have the offensive firepower to stick with anyone, and I'm not sure what their schedule looks like for the rest of the season, but I'm pretty sure it's not favorable because especially without an offensive guy, Rudy's got to step up, man. Rudy's got to step up, man. Rudy for MVP.
Oh nah, and they just lost to the Raptors too. Here's their next games. They got the Knicks at MSG tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Then they're back home against Atlanta. Then they're at Golden State, at Sacramento, at Phoenix. Back home on the 31st against the Lakers. Back home, or they're still at home against the Trailblazers. On the road at Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is actually honestly they're surprising me because they're actually pretty good even after the trade because Mikal Bridges is
40-90.
Bro, that's crazy, bro. That's honestly crazy because it's like he would never be able to do this with Phoenix because Phoenix had D-Book and Aiden. But hey, now he's the number one option. He's pretty good.
And the last 5 games, they have had the best defensive rating.
Because you got to think about the guys they got. They got Dinwiddie is no slouch. Mikal, Dorothy Smith, Ben Simmons, even though he has Claxton, Cam Johnson. He isn't trash defensively, but I mean, speaking of the Nets, who would have thought? Because my guy, Markelle Fultz, I'm so happy for him, man. I'm so happy for my guy, man, because he was my guy, number 1 in the draft. Once I seen the injury about the motorcycle accident injury, and then he Philly, he couldn't shoot. He wouldn't take jump shots because he couldn't shoot because the shot was changed because he had damaged nerves in his shoulder, his shooting shoulder. Philly gave up on him. People calling him a bust. And then the Celtics saying Celtics finesse because they did because Celtics had no one picking. Remember, Philly traded up for Markelle. And then Ben Simmons was an all-star, all-defense, so then they had to end up trading away Markelle to Orlando just a lot away. And then Markelle was looking good for Orlando, and then he tore his ACL. It's back in the 2020, the year after COVID, he tore his ACL. So I'm like, dang, man, my guy can't catch a break. Then last year he played only like 14 games, something like that. He looked decent, but then I'm like, dang, man, like Markelle was really getting his stride and looking like a great player. And now, last 5 games, he's averaged 26 and 6. On 50% shoot, 88 for free throw line. He's looking like a really good player. People gonna keep calling him a bust because he's not gonna live up to number 1, but I'm not gonna call someone a bust if a guy goes number 1 and he lasts 15 years in the league. That's not a bust. A bust is
Kwame Brown.
It's Kwame. Well, Kwame lasted in the league for a minute, but he still be a bust. A bust is Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett's a bust. A bust is Derek Williams is a bust because he lasted probably like 6 years in the league. A bust is trying to remember that Greg Robinson, something like that. He was like Portland took him, I believe.
Oh, you're talking about Greg Odom.
Not Greg Odom. I don't really fault him because the injuries.
Yeah.
I don't really fault him.
Like people are so.
Yeah, they still call him a bust.
Yeah.
Hey, it is weird. I'm talking about guys that like straight up just didn't do good in the NBA and they were like top picks.
Cool. Like Kwame Brown did stay in the league for the amount of time that he stayed in the league, but within those times, he did not do shit productive at all.
That's fair.
And he was being compared to like Michael Jordan, and I think it was being compared to like Kobe too, and like like he was being.
That's a big. He was compared to them.
He was compared to the greats. So everyone is expecting him to come out and be a superstar. This man didn't even average 2 points.
The thing is though, like I knew he came out of high school and he was number 1 pick. So I'm like, I thought Kwame was like he was just like because it was that much hype going into that draft. So I'm like Kwame was just clearly number 1 pick because he was a pretty good high school player. But I expected him to be. I didn't know he had comparisons like that. If that's the case, yeah, he's for certified a bust. But Anthony Bennett is a bust because Kwame at least lasted longer. Anthony Bennett lasted 4 years with 4 different teams. 4 years, 4 different teams. That's tough to do, and he's like nowhere near like getting back.
I might have to get a nice little 4 for 4 at Wendy's. That just that just made me think of Wendy's.
That's crazy. You know what? Instead of Qdoba, I might get Wendy's because man, you know, because what's cheaper, man?
The 4 for 4, and
you gotta think smarter, not harder, man. Well, I forget how the phrase goes. You know what? Forget it. You get it. But you know what? Back to the MVP thing and awards.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the rest of the awards because I don't feel like nobody else talks about really anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I think rookie year. Honestly, rookie year actually. You know what? Actually, rookie year. I think from the beginning of the season to like January, it was Paulo.
Yeah,
clear cut. But Jalen Williams is trying to make an argument. You know what? That happens almost every year. That honestly happens almost every year, I believe. Because last year it was Scotty. It was last year. You can make an argument for Scotty, Cade, and Evan. Then the year before that, I think LaMelo was pretty much solid the whole year. Anthony Edwards started out bad, but then Anthony Edwards after the All-Star break was amazing, and you could have made the argument Anthony Edwards should have made it, should have won. Or I honestly say they should have coded it. They both should have won because I say it was pretty even. I don't think LaMelo was that much better where you can say he clear cut was rookie of the year. I think that it should have been a co-rookie year. But this year I don't know, man, because Paulo hasn't been doing good because I remember in February he shot like 7% from 3, which is I don't know how you do that. I've seen 20%, but 7.
Yeah, that's abysmal.
That's abysmal. And Jalen Williams is playing really good for OKC, man. So, hey, I honestly don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I think it's supposed to. But if I personally had to pick, I'd say Paulo because Paulo was the guy I was picking. Not just I ain't like kind of because I met him last year. Because he came at McGrath. He did. I had to let him into the gym, give him a ball, and I met him. So I said, you know what? That's my guy. And, you know, I like Duke guys. I like Duke guys. Duke guys. I do. I honestly do.
I mean, yeah, that's fair because like now I want as hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying this, but I want Miami to like go on a little run in the NCAA tournament because the Kavner twins and what's her name? What's her Kenzie? I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name, but like they're some cool people. So like now I got to root for them.
I can't say who I root for right now. I can't say that. I can't see who I root for right now. I can't say. Nope. I can't say. I can't say who I root for. I will get in a lot of trouble. I shall not speak. If I speak, I will get in a lot of trouble.
I mean, the other one I had, I probably get in as much trouble.
I mean, they lost yesterday. I think
they lost in OT.
Yeah. They hit out in one shot, bro.
Yeah, because I was overhearing like Marquette fans. Oh my god, I was overhearing fans.
No, it's too late. You already said you gotta continue.
Marquette was like they're playing their game for the men's, and I overheard them talking about the women's team, and they said that Southern Florida came down and hit a 3 or something to force it into OT, and then they came in and they won in OT. I was like, man, damn shame, man.
Yeah, I seen St. John's lost too.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
To who?
Was it Kentucky? I think it was Kentucky. I think it was some known school. I'm sure. Yeah, St. John's lost. They lost.
Wow. Did Creighton end up winning against Mississippi State?
I'm not sure. Oh, you know something crazy? Actually, this is like so off topic. Cleveland State was actually good. They were 30-5.
What?
That's what I said. They made the tournament.
30-5?
Yes, Cleveland State was actually good.
There's no way.
Yes, they made the NCAA tournament. I seen it the other day. I was like, I seen Cleveland State as the name. I said, this is not the team I think it is it? I clicked it. I said, hold on, I'm looking this up. I'm looking up our schedule, make sure these two match. I said, yes, that Cleveland State that we lost to early in the year went 30-5, and they're in the NCAA tournament. I think they just lost to somebody good though.
I'm looking at it right now. Let's see.
I'm positive they just lost to somebody good.
Yeah, they lost to Nova.
Yeah. I must say I remember somebody in the Big East. I must say it wasn't UConn though. They lost. Yeah, it was Nova because Maddie had like 31, I think. Maddie had like 39, I think. I think Maddie went off on them. So.
But going back to the awards real quick, because I want to go back to the women's side of things. But I mean, for Rookie of the Year, it's going to be Jalen Williams has been playing really good on the defensive side because he leads the league in charges, and he did that in college. But most of the fans are going to look at it.
You're talking about the other Jalen. You're talking about the other Jalen.
Yeah.
The Jalen we're talking about, he's averaging like 26, 5 on 50. I'm pretty good shooting. I'm really good shooting, I believe. I seen it the other day. But yeah, you're talking about the other Jalen. Not Jalen. You're talking about the light skin. You're talking about the light skin Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the light skin Jalen. He's the one leading the league in charges. That's supposed to be Lowry, but you know.
Kyle Lowry.
Well, the next one I want to talk about, most improved. I honestly think it's a clean sweep. It's Lori.
Lori?
What? Who? No. Hold on.
I think it's Claxton. Claxton, because check it out, right? With Claxton, he wasn't averaging the numbers that he's averaging in blocks, rebounds, and he wasn't affecting.
He's about to make all NBA, bro.
If Lori wins it, like I wouldn't have a problem with it at all.
I would have a problem with anyone other than Lori.
But Nicholas Claxton, defensively, he
can compete for DPOY. He can definitely compete.
I think it's a clear cut for defensive player of the year right now.
I don't know who it is. No, it's not Claxton. I can't say it's Claxton because he had his little off moment. Right now, I see somebody say it's Brook Lopez. I'm sorry.
What?
How can Brook Lopez be defensive player of the year with Giannis on his team? Honestly, this year defense player of the year is nobody clear cut because there's no dominant guy on defense. Because Bam, I wanted Bam to win it, but we're so bad I can't see Bam winning it. Claxton, if KD and Kyrie stayed, Claxton would have won. Brook Lopez, I just don't think it's fair to give it to him because when he has Giannis on his team, because we know Giannis. I mean, yeah, Brook Lopez blocks shots and extra paint, but Giannis is a much better defender than Brook Lopez. Not to discredit Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is a really good guy. He's a really good player.
I think when it comes to when records start being thrown in with the individuals play, that's where things start to get intertwined in a bad way because they're like, oh, well, this person can't be considered for this award just because this team is 8th or 9th in the league. And that's what I hate about the voting, because if that player is playing as good as the top player on the top team, then you have to throw them in that conversation. Now, with most improved, all around, Lori has been playing phenomenal basketball. There is no denying that. I think he's shooting like maybe 42% from 3, and he's averaging like 23, 24 points. And from the field, he's shooting like 50%. So we weren't expecting this from Laurie, let alone we weren't expecting the Jazz to be what they were. The reason I throw Claxton in there, because we never seen Claxton perform like a defensive player of the year type player. Like, he had his moments, but it wasn't like moments where you're telling yourself he's going to be a defensive player of the year. And then on the offensive side of things, he has been putting in the work at, like, you could see it. He's been able to deliver on the pick and roll. He's been able to find his space in the paint, and he's been able to impact the Brooklyn Nets to the point where they have another defensive guy. And that's why Brooklyn's the scariest team going into the playoffs, because from 1 through 5, they have guys that they can defend on the court and, well, not off the court, because, like, you know what I'm trying to say. They have guys from throughout their whole roster that can defend. So defensive player of the year speaks high. I think he should be thrown in that most improved player conversation.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but it's so hard to not give it to Laurie, because he's about to make the All NBA. It's like Randall. It's like a Randall thing. So it's like, see, last year most improved player was much more competitive. I honestly can see so many people winning last year, but this year I think honestly, if Laurie does, in my opinion, if I had like complete opinion, I say Laurie should win it unanimously.
Mm-hmm.
But if he wins it, but like Claxton gets a bunch of votes, I won't be mad.
Yeah.
Six man.
Malcolm Brogdon is.
Emmanuel Quickly actually is
he's been snapping.
He's been snapping. See, it's crazy though, because beginning of the year, it was Russ. It was Russ the whole year until he got traded. It was Russ. But now it was Malcolm Brogdon. But Quickly snapping. So he's trying to make it a race.
I would give it to Quickly. I would give it to Quickly right now. And the reason I would give it to
Quickly, yeah, I agree, because the Boston, they're just a much better team. So it's like it's easier for Brogdon to play so amazing. Quickly, he's coming off the bench for Brunson. So like in the next round, honestly, I think, but you know what? I don't know how the voters would think about it. I honestly think they'll probably pick Brogdon, but I wouldn't be mad if it's Quickly. I think either or is probably 2 good votes. But I want to see who the third guy would be. I honestly want to see who the third guy would be. That's why I like seeing the final candidates for the third. I like seeing who the third guy is, because some awards it's usually like 2 guys. And I always like to see the third. It's just interesting. What's up to MVP? MVP, it's clearly Giannis.
Giannis,
and Joel. Rookie of the year is Jalen Williams and Paulo. You can say Jaden Ivey.
Nah, I don't think Jaden Ivey's been putting up the.
He's consistent with what he is though.
Yeah.
And Benedict Mathurin, I think those 2 are probably like gonna be like top 4 candidates probably. Defense player of the year. Last time I checked, it was Brook Lopez.
I gotta see what this Brook. That's the first time I've heard him.
You've never seen somebody. You never heard like the see. If you go, I'm about to look at it right now. Go to NBA.com. If you go to the overall consensus voting, it's gonna say Brook Lopez is like top 3 in defense player of the year.
Let's see, Brook Lopez, defensive player of the year. Brook Lopez is okay. I was not expecting to see that. See, that's why it's just some random tweet on Twitter. Brook Lopez, defensive player.
Like I'm about to check Vegas right now. Who they have?
Jaren Jackson Jr. is in the conversation as well.
That would be my pick. Jaren Jackson would be my pick. Jaren Jackson would for sure be my pick right now.
Yeah, they said Milwaukee. I'm about to cut you off. They said Milwaukee has the 3rd best defense in the league at 109.6 points allowed per 100 possessions. With Lopez on the floor, their defensive rating drops to 106.9.
Oh, yeah. I'm checking betting odds. Most people have Brook Lopez right now as defense player of the year. It's Brook, Jared, Bam, Giannis. I don't see Claxton. Claxton fell off. Claxton fell off. Damn. Yeah, Claxton's fallen off.
And they said, okay, so it says in this article, it's like with Lopez on the floor, their defensive rating drops to 106.9. And the big man is 3rd in the league in blocks at 2.5 per game. And opponents shoot just 51.6% at the rim when he makes a contest. Yeah, this is all just so new. That's crazy. Also, speaking of crazy, with March Madness and everything going on for men and women.
This is mainly going to be a youth thing.
Yeah.
But we got to talk. Let's get this one last award out the way. But I think this is honestly clear cut who's going to win. Mike Brown's coach of the year. Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Mike Brown's coach of the year. That's not even something we have.
That is unanimous. That is unanimous.
The Kings were not expected to make playoffs. He has them as a top 3 seed in the West. Mike Brown was coach of the year. There's no argument. I don't want to hear anyone say anyone else. Ooh, what you gonna say? Mike Budenholzer? Really? Really? The Bucks were expected to be a top. What you gonna say? Joe Mazzulla from the Boston, bro. I'm not giving him that too much credit for that. Yeah, you give him credit because the situation that happened all season with Ime. You can say, oh, you would think Boston would start out so bad, but Boston was still a talented team even without Robert Williams to start the year off. So I'm not giving them too much credit for them being still good. But
if Boston was
actually, the only person, that's why I'm mad. When I'm mad, KD and Kyrie got traded. The only is John Vaughn, because Brooklyn was number 3 or 2 in the East before KD got hurt. If Jock Vaughn kept that up, it would have been a 2-man race between those two. It would be a 2-man race because Brooklyn was a mess with Steve Nash, and Jock Vaughn turned that team around. And honestly, right now, Brooklyn's still a top 5 seed.
You honestly
right now still say he has a case to be coach of the year. That's the only competition. You can still say it because you would think KD and Kyrie going, oh, they should fall off and be like a play-in, but somehow they're better than the Cavs, the Knicks, the Heat. Somehow Atlanta, they're better than all those teams, and they don't have a superstar. We got Jimmy. Atlanta has Trae Young. Cleveland has Darius and Donovan. Knicks have Brunson and Julius. The Nets just have Mikal and just a solid group of guys who like to play together. So I have to give Mikal credit, he's averaging 25, but we're not gonna let a second half season turn Mikal Bridges into a superstar. Until you do in the playoffs, you're not a superstar. Well, that's stupid me to say because I just said Julius Randle and Brunson. But I'm not saying Randall's a superstar, but he's a pretty good player, and he's proven to you that he can average 24, 25, and be a pretty good scorer and lead the team to a top seed in the East. And he did it before, so.
I go back and forth with the Knicks when it pertains to the playoffs.
I don't know. I don't know if
they're going to do what – I don't know if Julius Randle's going to do what he's doing now. Jalen Brunson, he's going to be that guy. And
he's that guy.
He's been the number one reason why they have been so successful because – his leadership skills. So I'm not worried about, I don't know. Yeah.
And he won a national championship. He was on that team, so he's won before.
Exactly.
He made it work with Luka, so he can make it work with anybody.
Exactly.
It's hard to play side. It's hard to be a sidekick to Luka. If you can make it work with Luka, you can definitely make it work with Julius Randle.
Yeah, but Jock Vaughn, because when they made that trade, a lot of people are telling themselves the Nets they're rebuilding. The Nets are not fighting for the playoffs. The Nets, at best, are going to get a lottery pick. Now you're talking about the Nets as in no one wants to play them. They're sitting at the top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference right now. And
they're like 3 or no, they're not 3. They're like 4 or 5.
Yeah, and if you're the 4 seed, whoever's the 4 seed, they don't want.
Oh, never mind. They're the 6. They're the 6 seed.
So they would play. Who's the 3rd seed right now?
Boston.
Bold take.
Yeah, Boston. No, don't you make a bold take.
Bold take. Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn could beat Boston. Now hear me out, because we just talked about this. We just talked about this. Jason Tatum, when it comes to the big stage, what happens? He's nowhere to be found. Jaylen Brown.
That was in the finals. That was just in the finals, though.
It happened a couple times in these.
I mean, you can say he did that against Milwaukee, but he dropped 40 in Milwaukee. In game 5, they needed to win. He dropped 40.
Yeah, and then the next game, he's nowhere. He's nowhere to be found.
In game 6, they needed him to show up. He dropped 40. Game 7, it didn't need it because they blew Milwaukee out.
So I think
in Miami, you can say I don't think he really had.
Miami is different because Miami is just Jimmy and it's only been Jimmy, but Jimmy is such a superstar that he can damn near take OKC and have them. I don't
know about that. Jimmy in the regular season is not somebody I'm trusting. He's not LeBron. He can't carry, or Russ. He can't carry the regular season. But Jimmy in the postseason is up there with a lot of guys.
That's what I'm saying.
But, okay. I don't know if he'll take OKC and beat up a team. He'll probably get them 6. Take a team 6 games.
No, yeah.
Right. If it's a solid team,
but with Brooklyn, I really like Brooklyn because of their defense. And we saw it in the regular season. Boston was beating the shit out of Brooklyn. And Brooklyn came back and beat them. And they weren't in Brooklyn. They were in the Garden. So I think Boston's probably...
but a playoff series is different.
It's way different.
Much like you say their defense, but who's going to score offensively? You think Mikal Bridges is going to average 25?
Mikal can do it. And not only that, they have a lot of... They have shooters.
You're losing me. You're losing me for one reason. Boston just beat up on KD last postseason and Kyrie. You're telling me you think Mikal Bridges is somehow going to score on that when KD couldn't do it?
They have more than just McHale though.
What? Who else?
They have
He was the main one.
they have those
Dinwiddie? I think Marcus Smart can handle
because
Dinwiddie. He's not Kyrie.
Dinwiddie defensively. Because if you're not matching defense with defense, then I see where you're coming from. Because that's what happened with the Boston and Brooklyn series.
But Boston is a much better defensive team and a much better offensive team because they got Brown. Marcus Smart can get 20 sometimes. And Jaylen Brown can get you 40. Jaylen Brown gets you 50. Stretch the floor. Robert Williams is a good lob, great drop there. You got Malcolm Brogdon. You got Grant Williams. And then you got Derek White. You got solid 8 to 9 guys. Like, and then Brooklyn, they're gonna definitely. That Brooklyn's definitely gonna. If Ben Simmons plays, they're gonna expose that. If he's healthy, they're gonna expose that.
Well, I don't think Ben
Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm confident Marcus Smart can handle.
Spencer Dinwiddie's averaging his career high in steals.
That's not the point because I don't think Marcus. I'm confident in Marcus Smart and Dinwiddie. That matchup, I'm taking. And between Dinwiddie and Marcus Smart, I'm taking Marcus Smart.
And then
McHale and Jaylen Brown, I'm taking Jaylen Brown.
Marcus Smart playmaking.
Jason Tatum, I'm taking Jason Tatum.
Marcus Smart playmaking hasn't always been.
I mean, but
consistently good.
Who's the power forward for Brooklyn? Is it Cam Johnson? If it's Cam Johnson, I'm taking Al Horford over Cam Johnson.
Well, I mean, Al Horford, you don't really have to because he's going to be out in the corner. He's going to be shooting for the most part. So like
Al Horford can still post.
The reason why I say Brooklyn can beat Boston in a series is because of their defense.
5 games.
And you just on his worst days is
yeah. I know he's on his worst days, but you gotta think about it. It's not as bad because who's guard? Yeah, McHale can guard Tatum, but who's guarding Brown? Who's guarding him?
You could have. I mean,
Dorothy Smith. That's shot cheese, man.
You can make a case for that. Because they have a lot of 3-and-D guys, and that is very valuable.
But
very
who's
valuable.
The guy? But you can have a lot of 3-and-Ds, but you need a guy who can get a bucket. And Mikal Bridges hasn't done that long enough for me to say be confident in them winning the series.
Since he's been traded.
No, that's not enough time, bro. That's not enough time. That's not enough time. It's not enough time, bro. He got traded to Brooklyn after the trade deadline. That's not 40. That's probably like 20 games.
That's more than 20 games.
No, it's not.
That's more than 20 games.
The trade deadline was like February 8th. And that's before Kyrie and them got traded.
Like at the most, that's like
25. That's 25 games.
We'll say that's 25 at the most. That's
still not enough. That's still not enough for me to say in a playoff setting. See, but do you want to hear a great comparison?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Julius. Julius for a whole season, 72 games, averaged 25 and 10 on really good efficiency. He went against the Hawks, who are nowhere near Boston defensively, and got exposed as is not being that guy. So you're trying to tell me Mikal Bridges, a lesser Julius,
hold on. Boston? The reason he got exposed is because the Knicks, outside of Julius Randle, wasn't performing. Because I know who else was not bringing it up to the table that series, and it was RJ Barrett. And the only thing that was working for the Knicks was their bench. But their bench wasn't as strong enough as what Trae Young as a whole was doing that it makes it easier for Atlanta to play defense. We take it from a college standpoint, and we look at what the 16 seed FDU did to Purdue. The reason why they beat Purdue is because they were able to double team Zach Edey and able to continue double teaming Zach Edey because they weren't making shots from the perimeter. They went 6 of 31, 6 of 32 from the 3-point line. So when you only have made 6 shots from the 3-point line and that continues going into the next half, as a defense, you're like, we can start leaving you open. And we know you might hit 1 out of the next 5, but we can still go with our game plan of double teaming Zach Edey because we know you're not going to be able to hit those deep shots because you haven't been hitting it all game. Once you take out Julius Randle, as a lander, you're like, we're cooling because no other guy is stepping up that's replacing him in a Julius Randle platform. The reason why I say Brooklyn can do it is because Brooklyn can do it with their shooting. And we have seen, and we just praised Jacques Vaughn for doing what he's doing on the coaching side of things. And we've seen it before where you can implement shooters into a game plan as long as you have a guy that can space the floor and get them open. All it takes is 2 shots for Cam Johnson to go crazy. Same thing with Seth Curry. Same thing with Dorian Finney-Smith. And Dorian Finney-Smith is shooting the ball better. Now, Boston overrules them, but they're kind of in the mindset of, oh, this is Brooklyn. We're gonna walk all over Brooklyn, and they get smacked in the mouth. Oh, this is Cleveland. They haven't been in the playoffs before. Okay, we're gonna smack Cleveland. So underestimating your opponent
I don't think they'll underestimate Cleveland. They won't underestimate Cleveland because they have Donovan Mitchell and D. Mitch has playoff experience. They wouldn't underestimate Cleveland.
But I think they'll give. I think Brooklyn will give Boston a run for their money because I see what you're saying with if Katie and Kyrie wasn't able to do it, but I say it goes to 6. I say it goes 6.
5 games, Boston. 5 games, Boston. Guaranteed. What Chuck say? Guaranteed.
It's going to 6, baby.
Boston and 5. Boston and 5. I'm not even a Celtics fan. I hate them because they eliminated us last year. But Boston and 5, man. I'm sorry. I just can't see Brooklyn doing it. I can't see Brooklyn doing it.
They'll lose in 6. They'll lose in 6.
5, man. But Boston right now. If the playoffs ended, it'd be Boston, Brooklyn, Cleveland, New York, Philly, Miami, Milwaukee, Atlanta.
Milwaukee, I would say Milwaukee wins in 5 against Atlanta.
Yeah, Milwaukee will win in 5 because there's nobody guarding Giannis.
Philly, the playoff Jimmy is something else. Playoff Jimmy is something else. So you can't go into the mindset.
I will say we play Philadelphia well enough. And honestly, in my opinion, you can say it's biased. I don't care, man. I think we could beat Philly.
See,
Philly,
that is a hot take. That's a
hot take. That's a hot take. So hold on. So let me speak. I'll let you speak.
The only thing I'm gonna say is the only reason I'm calling that a hot take is due to the criticism that you have been given to Miami Heat. But go ahead, floor's yours.
Of the 3 teams, the top 3 teams in the East, Boston and Milwaukee, I believe Boston whoops us in 6 and Milwaukee sweeps us because Milwaukee owns us for some reason. But Philly, I say we could be Philly in 7 because we play Philly the best in the playoffs. We do. We generally do. We played them really good last playoff. I mean, yeah, you could say we don't have PJ, but we still have a good enough team to compete with Philly because Philly, they're harder than Embiid. You still got Tyrese Maxey, yeah. I mean, yeah. To be fair, Philly didn't have depth last year. They do have a little bit of depth now, but I believe we can game plan. We could game plan the hell out of Embiid. And if Embiid's not having a good night, we just have to worry about Harden. And we know Harden. I mean, yeah, you can say he was still hurt he was hurt last year, but I could believe we could be Philly in 7. I'm not saying 6. I'm not saying we're gonna whoop them like you saying they could get them in 6. I say 7. It would take 7 games for us to be Philly, and we have to do it in Philly, of course. Now, who else was it? It was Knicks and Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting one because it's like I would take Cleveland in 6. I say Cleveland in 6 because Cleveland has Evan Mobley for Julius. So, and I want to see how Julius does against Evan Mobley for a whole series. Because I'm a firm believer Evan Mobley's going to be a great player in this league. He's going to be a really good player in this league. And Donovan Mitchell, who's guarding Donovan? RJ? You want RJ doing that? Because either way, Jalen Brunson's got to guard somebody. Because he's either going to guard Darius or Donovan. You got to make Jalen Brunson guard. And Brunson isn't Trae Young defensively, but I don't think you want Brunson guarding one of those two for a series. You don't want them guarding them for a series. But I say Cleveland in 6 with that. So what was it? Milwaukee 5 over Atlanta. Boston 6 over Brooklyn. I said no. Damn. Milwaukee 5 over Atlanta. Miami 7 for Philly. Milwaukee. I said not Milwaukee. Boston 5 over Brooklyn and Cleveland in 6.
I got Knicks in 7 against Cleveland.
Oh my God. You just gotta be the oddball, man.
Brooklyn in 6. That's gonna shock the world. It's Miami because I feel you with Miami. I feel you, but Miami just doesn't have that consistent guy. And yeah,
I agree. It's other than Jimmy. We don't really have anybody consistent.
So I would go Philly in 6 with that. Milwaukee 5, and then is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, I think we talked about the West, didn't we? I think we did talk.
We talked about the West. We haven't gave like if the playoffs were starting.
Because I think the West is much harder to do because we can't really judge the bottom tier teams because the Lakers right now in the playoffs. But I firmly believe the Lakers will win the play-in and make like the 8, 7 seed or 8 seed, something like that. So we can't really discuss the West right now. But just for podcast sake, let's just go off what it is right now.
Okay.
Right now it's number 1 versus Nuggets versus Timberwolves.
Oh, I got the Nuggets in 4. They sweep the Timberwolves.
If Anthony Edwards is still hurt, Nuggets in 4. 2. It's 2 number 2 seed Kings versus Golden State. Golden State 6.
Yeah, good. I'm right there with you. Golden State 6.
Golden State 6.
I'll go out on a limb. Golden State 5. Hot take. Golden State 5.
That's not really a hot take, honestly. I wouldn't say it's a hot take. I would just say it's like you're kind of like just thinking like the Kings. I mean, honestly, I say 5 is not really bad because like if you say sweep, I say then you're like that's a bold take because you're saying Kings don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
5 means you're saying like. What is how you describe the 5? Because if you're describing like the Kings win game 1 and then lose 4 straight, That's reasonable, honestly, because Golden State just all it takes them a game to adjust to what Kings do. I can see that. I say 6 because I think Kings probably will win game 1, lose 2 straight. No, I think they'll lose 3 straight, win game 5, and Golden State wins to Golden State. That's what I think will happen. Because I think Golden State, their road struggles are actually a real thing. I think that's like a real thing. Like they really just struggle on the road for some reason. And I think just at home, they won't lose a game to the Kings. That's what I think will happen. Okay, well, next is Memphis, Dallas.
Ooh.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Memphis and 6. Memphis and 6.
Because Kyrie and Luka aren't healthy. And then Memphis will get Steven Adams back. They'll get Steven Adams back. Dylan Brooks is probably going to guard. I don't know who to do. Desmond's probably. They're probably gonna have Ja guard Reggie Bullock or something. They're probably not gonna have him guard.
And for some weird reason, Ja's not back. We have seen.
No, Ja's gonna be back. Ja's gonna be back.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying like
because remember last week they say they spent him for 8 games, but the 6 games he missed, they count that towards it. So they say.
Oh,
they say technically Monday he can come back, but they say he's not coming back Monday. He'll probably come back like later next week, honestly.
Yeah, but we let's say in a hypothetical world, like he didn't come back. We've seen this team without Ja, and it has looked fantastic.
They look really good. They look really good. Same thing last year. Without Ja, they were really good. That was everybody's case with Ja not winning MVP, like being an MVP candidate, because they're like, Memphis was good when he didn't play still. So it's like, and you can make that another argument because they blew the Warriors out by 50 in Game 5 when he didn't play. So it's like, I don't know. But the last one, this is probably gonna be if playoffs end, this will probably be the best first round series. Clippers Suns. That one. Honestly, we could probably have an argument for about 15, 20 minutes about why one team can win, why the other team can lose. Because because the Clippers are probably the only team in the West right now to me who match the Phoenix Suns with their defense. Because Kawhi can get KD and PG can get D-Book. I think the difference maker would be Ayton. Ayton has to be the difference maker. And what CP we're getting. If we're getting CP who can give you 10 points, the CP, if we get CP before he turned 37 last year in the playoffs, Phoenix and 6. Phoenix and 7. But you know what? The biggest determining factor is KD's health. If he's healthy by the time the playoffs come and they play Clippers, I don't know, man. That's a tough one because like I always tell people, I said Clippers are my favorite before the season. But you're putting me in a really hard place, man, because seeing, dang, man, I just really thought about that. Russ is on the Clippers and CP's on the Suns. I have to choose Russ or CP. I mean, I like Russ more, but CP's been through so much, and my homie just hates CP so much. And you know, I'm talking the same one I had an argument about with Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think Phoenix can make out second round. I said, you're crazy if you don't think Phoenix can make the conference.
It depends on who they play on now.
Yeah, I can see that, but still, with the fight, Phoenix can win a championship with this team. They can win. They can definitely win. They can definitely win a championship with this team. It will be a tough road. A lot of things will have to go their way. I'll agree with that. But in every championship run, luck is involved.
Yeah.
2020. The Lakers. They didn't face. As much as people want to say, yeah, the Clippers, they lost to the Nuggets, so it didn't matter. But they didn't play the Clippers. The Clippers were one team that had the Lakers' number in a way. They played the Heat. Bam was hurt. Bam got hurt. Goran was hurt. And Jimmy had to pull an all-time finals performance to win 2 games. 2021. That whole playoffs was full of injuries. Kawhi, partially towards ACL, so Phoenix beat Clippers in 6. Kawhi plays, Clippers win. 100%. Milwaukee, you can say, yeah, Victor didn't play. Milwaukee, I don't think we will beat Milwaukee in the first round, but Victor didn't play, so you still got to count that as an injury. Second round, Milwaukee, who they play? They play Brooklyn. Harden gets hurt. Kyrie gets hurt. KD has a big foot. He has a huge foot. If his foot's on the line, he's as much as people always play, I'm a realist when it comes to this. KD sends Milwaukee home in game 7. If his foot wasn't on the line, he sends them home. And Atlanta, Giannis got hurt. So, and Trey sprained his ankle, so he wasn't 100%. But Giannis still got hurt. So I think that's an even playing field because their best guy was healthy. The conference finals. I mean, the NBA finals. There's nothing. Oh, actually, another thing with the Suns. AD got hurt. LeBron was coming off his ankle injury. So, Utah. I mean, Utah, they actually were they're actually the opposite. Kawhi got hurt in that series, and they lost 4 straight, which is crazy to think about, honestly. So it's like 2021 players. 2022. Golden State, Memphis. Ja got hurt. Do I believe they would win the series? I said it would go on 7 with Ja. That's something they were missing a closer. In game 6, the game was close. They put the ball in the hands of Jared Jackson. I'll be serious right now. Ja's the closer of that team. I'm trying to think who else. Trying to think who else in the 2022 playoffs wasn't healthy.
Denver,
100%. Denver doesn't have Michael Porter and Jamal Murray. We were healthy. Tyler was hurt. Kyle was hurt. Jimmy was hurt. Because I know you. Did you remember? Did you watch that game 3 when Peyton Pritchard pulled Jimmy's foot? That's why he missed the rest of the game 3 after that.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy was 100% after that. That's why he left that game, because Peyton Pritchard grabbed his foot when he was dove for this ball, and Jimmy was never 100% after that. So we weren't 100%. I have to be fair. Philly was nowhere near 100%. Embiid got hit in the face, had to wear a mask. And then I think Embiid, he had a concussion. Harden wasn't healthy. So it's like, you got to be fair. The Atlanta, when we play Atlanta, Clint Capella wasn't fully healthy. You got to be fair. Like, luck, like, people don't believe luck isn't involved. Luck is involved. Luck is involved in the playoffs all the time. Sometimes you're lucky. Sometimes you're on the opposite side of the spectrum. Like Boston. Boston was healthy the whole playoffs. Other than you can say Robert Williams. Another thing, Milwaukee. Chris Middleton was gone after the first round. Chris Middleton plays, I 100% believe.
They go back to the finals.
They go back to the finals. They go back to the finals because they're going to beat us. Dude, let's be real. They're going to beat us. They're probably going to beat us. They're probably going to beat us. Probably in 7, because that was our best team. I think we probably would have took Milwaukee 7 again. But it sucks. Yeah, so it's like, and they would have definitely beat Golden State in finals, because the difference between Boston and Golden State is that Boston, they have experience because they made conference finals so many times, but they never made the finals. Of conference finals pressure and finals pressure is 2 different things. That's a different animal. Giannis, the Bucks have been they've been battle ready because they've played superstars. They played the Kawhi. They've played Jason Tatum. They played Jimmy. They played all of these guys. They're battle ready. So Drew on Steph, it's pretty much just like Marcus Smart. Same thing. But the difference between them and Boston is that Tatum, you're not eliminating Giannis like you can eliminate Tatum. There's nobody one-on-one guarding Giannis. You're gonna have to build a wall, and that means Brook Lopez, but they're gonna have to do the same thing. Brook Lopez, and Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Grayson Allen, they're gonna have to beat you. But building a wall on Giannis is a tough thing to do, because that means you gotta take some hits, and you gotta be ready for that. Because taking a hit from Giannis is, whew, man. Did you see what happened to Torrey Craig the other day? Did you see what happened to Torrey Craig the other day, man? I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it, man.
Because it's wear and tear on your body. And if you're constantly getting hit by a 6'9",
the man's is a running back, bro. Full speed. But you know what? He's smart, because what he's doing what they teach you. Like, if you hit, like, it's the same thing with rebound. Like, if you, like, when you rebound, I'm not saying try to hurt the guy, but you hit a guy in his knees once or twice, or you be physical with somebody for first 3 quarters, you're physical. 4th quarter, he don't want no problems. So that's what Giannis thinks. He thinks, like, if it's offensive foul, but yeah, I ram my shoulder into a guy, he's taking a hit. It'd be offensive foul or not. I'm sorry, man. Come to that 4th quarter. I'm tired of getting hit, man. I don't want to get hit no more. Like, you gotta be a different, insane type of guy, man. You gotta be insane and want to be like, hey, man, I'm gonna take these 4th quarter hits by these 4 quarters of hits by Giannis. I'm gonna do it just for the team. Nope, not me. I'm not doing that. I refuse to get hit that many times, bro.
I'm not doing that either. But that's what be missing from these championship teams.
You gotta take guys. You got those guys who are just willing to take hits. Like that's why I like PJ so much. PJ is just the perfect player, because he's the tough guy. Like, I remember his quote. I was telling Kevin before, like, you can score on me. Do it again, though. I want you to do it again. Do it again. I remember saying it, because he did it with an interview with JJ Redick. He says, KD had 50. I was still talking to him. I said, yeah, you got 50, but do it again. Score on me again. Like, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here the entire game. You're just gonna have to keep scoring. Like, keep doing it. Like, and that's the mentality you gotta have with a lot of things in life. Like, yeah, I failed, but I'm gonna do it again. This results be different. Like, I can fail 10 times in a row. I'm gonna still try to 11.
Exactly.
It's just mentality, just being relentless. That's what it is. That's what it is, man.
And it goes with confidence too. Like,
confidence. That's how confident he is. Yeah.
Like, you go to the bar and you get denied by 10
You're
girls. Like, you go over 10.
0 for 10. I'd rather go 0 for 34 than 0 for 10, because that means I gave up.
Exactly.
That's what Deion Waiters said. And shout out to Deion Waiters for that, man. That's a crazy quote. Expect to come from you, because that's crazy coming from him, because I expect something like Kobe to say that. I'm pretty sure Kobe did say that, but Deion Waiters said, I'd rather go 0 for 34 than 0 for 10, because that means I gave up. Man. But hey, that's a great mentality to have.
And you just gotta keep shooting. And there's times where I have had, like, terrible days when it's come to that department. But, like, you just gotta tell yourself, like, there's gonna be that one.
Right. If you gotta accept rejection, like, it's life. Especially as a man, you have to accept rejection, because it's gonna happen, bro. If you can't do that, then you're never mature. You're never mature in life if you can't accept the fact that rejection is gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. It is what it is, man.
Truly, because it's like, if you can't accept it, then that means you're going to walk through life like you need to be given this, you
Right.
need to receive this,
Right.
and you're not always going to get everything.
Nothing is given. Well, some things are given,
Yeah,
but things like that, you earn that.
exactly.
You put the work in to get stuff like that.
Exactly. But going off of that, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. But like for right now, I would say the Clippers. I would say the Clippers
Yeah.
in 7.
I'm gonna say, hold on, we got completely off topic.
Yeah.
Hey, expect that with us a little bit, man, because that's just how it is sometimes. But hey, you're getting real, man. You're getting real from us, man. You get some real stuff, man.
Literally.
But like I said, personally, from my personal perspective, I would take Suns in 7. Suns in 7. If the Clippers win the series, I won't be mad. I'll probably be mad because my homie gonna talk stuff, but
Yeah.
hey, I gotta live with, man. He's gonna talk stuff no matter what. He tells me. I remember I was telling him about this, man. He's telling me, man, nobody want to listen to your garbage takes, man. I said my takes are not garbage. I said my takes aren't garbage, bro. I said the only thing you got on me is my Suns take, and sometimes I miss. I'll be honest, I do have a lot of draft misses. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Justice was gonna be good. I said Marvin Bagley was gonna be good. Who else did I say? I gotta look at some draft. I'll tell you another time. Next episode, I'll actually describe my list of draft misses. I have a lot. I have a lot of guys I believed in. But Ben Simmons, I believe in Ben Simmons too. I missed a lot of guys, man. I missed on a lot of guys. It sucks, man. But hey, when you're like, at least I'm able to admit I
exactly.
Missed. At least I'm believing, because there's a lot of guys who like, I know one guy. Skip ass. He continues to this day to make excuses for Baker when Baker's just not a good quarterback. He's not elite.
I was wrong on Baker too.
Like, you know what's funny? I think before this year he said he would take Baker over Josh Allen.
No, hell no. Hell no.
I said if I was Shannon, I would have took my hands off. I'll see you tomorrow. Because I'm sorry. Like, I had to leave the room. I'm sorry. Like, I wish you would say something ridiculous like that. I would leave. I would leave the podcast. I would leave. I would just say leave. And I say, I would text you. I say, I will see you next time we do this. That ridiculous take is Baker over Josh Allen after Josh Allen had 2 good years. It's insane. Baker, his best season, he had everything. He had the run game, an offensive line, a good receiver. He had a solid defense. He had Kevin Stefanski, a great head coach. And you're telling me he's better than Josh Allen? Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback. He's a top 5 quarterback. Because you want to name better quarterback. You want to say a lot of quarterbacks are better than him. I only can see 2. And that's Joe Burrow and Mahomes. That's the only 2 I can see better than him. You can say I can understand Hurts' argument, but that's it. Herbert, no. I can see Herbert because Herbert hasn't done anything in the playoffs. And he just choked the playoff game. So
that's
he just choked the playoff game. Valid. Josh Allen, I wouldn't say he's choked. Yes, he has. That Texas game. That Texas.
I can point out a lot of.
Yeah, that Texas game, he did choke. But he had an otherworld performance against the Chiefs.
Oh my God!
Sorry, guys. He's a Bills fan. I don't want to give him any memories, but other than that, you got anything else, man?
I mean, other than that, because I've had a lot of outlandish takes. I'm not gonna lie. One of them being the Giants was going to beat the.
Oh yeah. We're not. That you say no, but that's not your worst. No, actually, that is your worst.
No, yeah, that was definitely my worst.
No, actually, you know what? Listen clearly. He had a bad take before that. Like, you think that one's bad? He said the Vikings were going to make it to the Super Bowl over the Eagles. I said, put money on that. Put money on it, and he lost. And I thought he was going to humble himself. He was going to say, you know what? You're right, man. The Eagles are really good. He said they're going to win. This man doubled down and said, you know what? I got the Giants over the Eagles. I said, put money on it. He said he did. Just taking money. Just taking candy from a baby, man. Taking candy from a baby, man. He don't learn. He doesn't learn.
I thought, God, the fucking Vikings. That's all I can say.
You put your trust in Kirk Cousins. Look where that got you. Man. Look what it got you. Man.
It got me to a choice route that wasn't even completed. They're an interesting team. Offensively, they'll always be set, and then defensively, it was just. I don't even want to talk about it.
One of the worst teams, one of the worst defenses in the league, and you believe in that.
Because it was Daniel Jones.
But I don't even care about that. You believe in Daniel Jones against the Eagles.
Okay,
that's when I'm like, yeah, you're insane. Yeah. You know, bro, Kevin said you're an idiot. He said you're an idiot. He said Jonathan an idiot. Yeah. I said he is. I said taking candy from a baby.
I can't even. Yeah. I mean, the way that Daniel Jones looked.
Bro, any quarterback, I can guarantee you this right now. Any quarterback who played in the playoffs would have looked amazing against the Vikings. Look what it looked like. Brock Purdy would have looked good. Because Brock Purdy looked good against Seattle. And Seattle's defense was bad, but it wasn't Vikings bad.
Yeah.
And he looked good against them. Brock Purdy would have did good. Hurts would have been amazing. Mahomes would have destroyed the Vikings defense.
Yeah.
Rodgers probably. Well, my bad. They didn't make playoffs.
Josh Allen would
have destroyed them.
Justin Herbert
would have destroyed them.
Trevor Lawrence would
have destroyed them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Who else made the playoffs?
I wasn't thinking about. All I was thinking about was Kirk, and like behind
That's your problem, man. That's the problem. It's different if this is the NBA. You're thinking about one guy. No, the NFL. You got to think about things. Because look at the Packers when they lost to the Niners. They were good offense and defense, but special teams. They were one of the worst special teams groups, and that lost them the game.
Aaron Rodgers lost them that game too. But to
be fair, think about it. The punt got blocked, and that's what led to them taking the lead.
That's fair. But that last drive.
Yeah, you can say that, but you got to think about it. Put it just in perspective. You got to think about it. Their special teams was bad the whole year.
Yeah.
Good offense, good defense. It's the same thing with the Chargers that one year when they were the best offense and defense, but their special teams was so bad they missed the playoffs.
Right.
So that's why I love football. That's why I love football over the NBA. The NBA, if you got a star guy, you can somehow make the playoffs. And you've seen it with LeBron in 2018 and in 2007. You got a guy that's so good, he can take you to the promised land. Probably not win it all because nobody's ever done that. No other guy has just won it all by himself completely. But he can still win you something. NFL, you got to have a solid defense. You got to have a solid special teams. You have to be elite at something. You have to be elite at something. You have to. If you're not elite at something, man, the playoffs will expose you. Like, if you have a great defense, but you're really good at the run, but your pass defense is really bad, oh, man, you're going to get destroyed. If you have a good pass defense, but you have bad run defense, look at the Chargers. They got destroyed. They got killed because of that. It's just how it is, man. It's just how it is in the NFL. That's why I love it, man. That's why I love it.
It's amazing. I love NFL playoffs. It's such a great thing.
Amazing thing.
It can give life. But yeah, nah. Yeah, their defense is only going to get worse too. So it's
because they just released I think they signed the cornerback from Cardinals though, but they lost Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson was really good for them this year. He was actually a bright spot.
Other than that, that's about it. That's all I have. Michigan State's being Marquette right now though in men's basketball.
I'll tune in a little bit, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I got some rec to get back to.
Oh yeah, I gotta get back to that. I gotta get back to the game too. But that is another episode of the 1497 podcast. Follow the podcast at 1497 podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and all podcasting platforms. As always, go get yourself a nice 4 for Wendy's. Wendy's sponsorship.
Shout out to Wendy's. Shout out to Wendy's.
Qdoba sponsorship is coming soon. Damn near any food that we order, we're going to see as a sponsorship.
Sponsorship's coming soon, man.
Affirmations, and affirmations. We're just gonna write that down. It's gonna happen.
Hey, what SpongeBob's like? Write that down.
But as always, trust the process. I'm out of here. I gotta get back on the game, man.
Yeah, got some rec game to get. Hey, anybody? Hey, I'll be getting sold. If you play 2K, you watch this, man. Hit us up, DM one of us, and they'll get contact me. PS5 only though.
Yeah.
No Xbox. If you play Xbox, don't bother.
Don't even look my way if you play Xbox.
Don't play Xbox. Hey, I used to be on Team Xbox, but now I switched to PlayStation.
Yeah,
I don't regret it.
Yeah, I don't either. But we out of here.
Man.
Yes, sir.